Hi, welcome to another exciting episode of the Andre The Beast Crayton Show. It's almost that time, November, time to get to the polls and understand the importance of the power of the vote. I'm not going to tell my age, but I'm going to tell you like this. This is a very, very important political race here in Indiana because we have an African American female that's definitely on the campaign trail, that's clearly focused, that beast mindset. She's clearly focused on what we need, not as a whole, not as color, but just as human beings, what we need to survive economically, emotionally, spiritually, the whole 9 yards. Today is a special show because you see three beautiful ladies here, and they all are on the campaign trail to make sure that we as individuals get to those polls. Today on the show, we're going to start from the far right and work our way back around. On today's show, we have
Linda Journey with Senate Township Board in Indianapolis.
Myla Eldridge, serving as the Marion County Democratic Chairwoman.
And
Dinahlynn Biggs, Biggs Radio, where we rock the vote, baby.
ladies, thank you so much for coming in. Let's start with Myla right now. The name says it all. Your name is like, when it comes to anything about voting and the Democratic Party, your name always seems to be in the forefront. Why is this election so important, and why are you so passionate about the people going to the votes?
First of all, this election is so important because our freedoms are on the ballot.
Right.
And if you want to really get into details about what our freedoms are, right? They are our LGBT community rights, right? Our freedoms to vote.
Right.
Women's rights, reproductive rights is on the ballot. Education's on the ballot. You know, I served as the Marion County clerk prior to becoming the Democratic chairwoman, and I found myself saying quite often, this election is important. Well, I'm saying it again. This election is very important. And to have an African-American woman, Dr. Val, to be on the ballot, and making history is just amazing. And I think it's important to know what her what she stands for, what her initiatives are, what she wants to do differently than the other. We're not going to mention any names here, but that have not done nothing and does nothing to help. And I'm going to say people of color. Right. So I think it's important to note, too, that this election of education is on the ballot, and it's important for the Democratic Party not to only be focused on the presidential race, but the down ballot races as well, just like Dr. McCrae's.
What do you think? This is an open forum right now. So what do you think are some of the important issues that are not being addressed that need to be addressed with the Democratic and the Republican Party?
I'm not sure that there are issues that are not being addressed, but I think what is out there is misinformation. And I think the narrative needs to be very clear as Democrats, though, what Democrats have done, because we have done the work and we've seen it under the Biden and Harris administration. But we have to know, too, that the strategy is to confuse. And they do a pretty good job at confusion, right? They're good at confusion. So I think it's important for Democrats to make sure that we're talking about all the initiatives and everything that the Biden-Harris has done to benefit not just people of color, but the American people.
Some people might say, we watched the debate, and you have some people that might say that she's been in the office now 3 years. Change can easily be made with the stroke of a pen. What do you think on that?
I would say that everyone doesn't understand government and needs to know and understand government. You have to know the role of the vice president. The vice president's role, remember, we do have a president. She is not the president. And so in regard to that is become more educated. That's the thing, and I say this all the time, that the word of God is, because I am spiritual, and I do feel that this is a spiritual election.
Why do you say that? Why do you say that?
Because, the word of God says that our people perish, or God's people perish from the lack of knowledge. We've got to do a better job at educating ourselves and doing the research, and not, again, listening to alternative facts or listening to what they're putting out there, because, again, they are the author of confusion, and they're not telling the truth. And they've literally said that, like, just this week, Braun said during the debate with Jennifer McCormick, our candidate for governor, that there is no perfect election, because they literally had blatantly lied about something, like one of her policies, or something that she has associated herself to. So again, we've got to do the homework, stop believing everything that they're saying, because they are the author of confusion. And that is a strategy. That is a strategy for the American people to say, guess what? Well, I'm confused, or I don't like this person, or I don't like this, so I'm not going to vote. That is definitely not the answer, not to vote, because when you don't vote, guess what? That is a vote for the other person. So you really, really need to pay attention to what the candidates are saying they are going to do. And again, Dr. Val supports early education. She supports preschool, right? So why do I support Dr. Val, or why do I think she's a great candidate? Because she supports what I believe in. I believe in early education for children, and just other, issues that she has said that she will definitely lobby for, and Congress makes her a great candidate.
What you going to say, baby girl? She was
My
just
thing
waiting.
is, I don't think you should not vote for someone because of what someone tell you about that particular candidate. That computer is so full of everything. If you want to know something about a candidate that's running this year or next year, whatever the case may be, go to the computer and do your own homework. Read about them, find out what they're about and stuff, and make up your own mind. But remember, you got to go to the poll, because just like Myla said, a vote, if you don't go and vote, you're voting for the opposite party. And it's very important that we help Dr. McCray get in office, because I feel like she stands for what we need right now. Everybody will give you a good talk about what they're going to do. They're going to do this and they're going to do that and stuff. But the best way to find out is to go to the computer, stop believing what someone else tell you about that candidate, whether it's negative or positive. Find out for yourself. That's the best way to do it.
What are some of the things that you're passionate about with Dr. Valerie McCray and the Democratic Party?
What I like about her, I think she's a very smart young lady. She's bring life to the Democrat Party. I think that she stands for not just what the inner city voters and residents need. She stands for all of us. I think she'll do an excellent job. She's a listening ear, and she's not quick to pass judgment on things.
Right.
And I think she just would be the perfect candidate. And I feel very honored and privileged to be on the ballot with her this year, along with Kamala Harris. I feel very honored being one of the seniors. I call myself the senior elected official here in the city. Even though I'm not old, but I feel like I'm one of the senior elected officials here, because I've been on the board for 39 years. So I know how important elections are 1 year after 1 year, because every 4 terms I have to run. So I know how important it is to stay in touch with the voters and be a listening ear, because sometimes little small thing that you can get done, it's not small to them. It means a lot to people who can't get to the politician like you can get to. And I think that Valerie going to be an excellent candidate, because she's got a listening ear for the voters.
Yeah, if I could add to what Linda said too, keep in mind she has doctor on the front of her name, so she will address the mental health issue that we're dealing with. I strongly believe that, so that's another reason why I think she's an excellent candidate.
Let's switch the mic over to my girl DB Biggs Radio. Make sure you guys subscribe, download, and follow that radio station. You deal with a lot of artists, a lot of entertainers, but we're still suffering with misinformation I'm 100% research, do your own homework. But with a platform such as yours, you're dealing with young minds. Why haven't these young minds understand the concept of the power of the vote? What's your take on that?
Well, my take on that is that young people are taken in a split second because the cloud and social media has made it easy to distract them. We as political people have not given them anything to connect to. We're operating, voter registration and voter issues are very detailed and they come with a lot of rules. Kids don't pay attention. What we need to do is implement new programs and new things to engage them. In terms of radio, it's from one spectrum to another for us. We're dealing with the elderly who can't get to the polls, as well as the young adults. So the connection is lost in the middle, and it's our job to connect them. I took my granddaughter to vote. Some people should take their grandparents to vote, but how do we make that connection with them? So in terms of getting youth, we got to get into high schools. It starts there. A lot of them turn 18 in their senior year and then go to college and don't get an absentee vote ballot. I had my granddaughter call, and I stayed on the phone with her. Call and get your ballot mailed to you so that your vote will count.
It's funny you said that, because when I was in high school, that's how we learned how to vote.
Exactly. That used to be in high school.
They registered you when you got 18. If you was still in high school at that time, they registered you right there on the spot to vote.
When I first got in politics and I ran my campaign, it was ran out of the high school.
Yeah.
I was able to get kids from the high school that I graduated from, which is Tech High School. Give a shout out to Tech High School.
Tech High School.
Tech High School furnished me a lot of workers and stuff the first year I ran, but I had inside connection that I could get in there, and I had a whole lot of volunteers. And I would, being as young as I was when I first ran for office at the age of 18, I remember the kids were excited because they were my classmates and friends and stuff to come out and support one of their homegirls. So they knew I was okay to be a good candidate. And I thank God for them today because I'm still there.
We got to get into high schools and connect with these counselors and principals. And because kids will be excited if we're excited.
Yes, very much.
What you think, Myla?
Well, I will go back to my days of serving as the Marion County Clerk. And we had a program, and it was called Why Vote. And so that program, we would go to the high schools, and we would just talk about, it wasn't partisan, we would just talk about Marion County, the election process, right, to prepare those that would be eligible to vote on that experience, right, give them that experience. So they would we would hold a mock election. They would get to vote a ballot, right, and we would take the machines because it is important. However, if we back up a little bit, we have to realize that the pandemic put us in a different place.
Right.
Yeah.
And so since the pandemic had put us in a different place, what I'm learning from the hat that I wear as Marion County chairwoman is that we've got to meet those 18 to 25 year olds, those 18 to 35 year olds where they are at. Where are they at? They are living in a digital computer technology world now where we all are. Like I said, the Mylas of the world now really probably can't even reach them, right? So I was actually just talking to Dinah about, guess what? I don't have the skills to rap, but real talk is rappers are influencing our children. They are influencing that pocket, right? So what do we have to do? We have to meet them where they are at. So I've got to reach out to, maybe you can help me, Jay-Z or somebody, I don't know, or Beyonce. I don't know, but we've got to meet.
With all they're going through, I don't think I want to reach out with them right now.
But we've got to meet them where they are at, and we have to share with them. This is the thing. You can't bombard them with information. That's in any voter. We have got to find out what initiatives will drive them to vote.
Right.
Drive anyone right to the polls. We've got to those top 3, maybe, right?
Right.
We've got to find what those issues are, whether that be education. I don't know. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know right now today, but we're working on it. And again, I'm going to throw this out here. We just had a men's panel, right? Because we're trying to educate and engage the African-American male because there, I feel, is a myth out there, and we're going to dispel that myth.
What's the myth?
That African-American men are not engaged in the process. So what do? Again, you have to reach people where they are at, and I am in it to do that however I can. I just posted, though, I may have to record a TikTok video.
I think what you're talking about makes perfect sense. We live in a digital blueprint community and age, and until I was talking to Valerie about this when I first met her, I said only way I would even consider even talking to you, I need to know what's your policies, plain and simple. And I'm about changing policy. You know, if you rewrite and change policy, kind of like what you said, DB, get rid of those old ways of voting, those old ways of thinking, these old Uncle Tom laws that's been basically strangleholding all people that are not of European color. It's been a stranglehold for us. What's your take? Because this is definitely historical for us. I'm putting it out there now, as I say, for us, historical. Black female, Indiana, conservative Indiana. I love this state, love this city. I've seen the change. I tell people all the time, I've seen the change. I remember when we couldn't go downtown. I remember when we couldn't go to Greenwood. I've seen the change, and change is about to happen.
Wow.
What are some of the things that are clearly most important for you? You said, Joyce, but for you, you're in office. You definitely have strong ties politically, but we're dealing with this LGB. That seems to be the biggest thing in women's right. What's your take on that? Pro-life, I guess is what it's called, right?
Well, they're here. And they're here to stay.
They are. Yeah.
And nobody can tell who needs to be with who. And my thing on them is everybody ought to be treated equally. Be able to come and go, live where you want to live, go where you want to go, and stuff. And I know that it's the opposite party is to try to intimidate them along with people of color to keep us from going to the polls and not voting for the right candidates. So they tell us all this, tell us all that, what they're going to do for us, what they're not going to do for us. And some of us are jumping aboard because they think it's a winning hand. But everything that we do in life comes at a price.
We're talking about putting a lot of pressure on the newly elected senator. Let's get real. There's tons of issues that need to be addressed. Affordable housing.
Oh, yeah.
Mental health, equal employment, job opportunities, pro-life. The list goes on. If one thing had to be done first in what I call the order of operations, what would you guys consider being the first thing that Dr. Val, once she gets in office, should attack?
Myla?
So first, I would like to begin by saying let's get beyond the fact that she's going to be the first woman of color to hold that office, because it's not so much as about her color for me as it is the qualifications.
There you go.
She's a qualified woman, just educated woman that just happens to be black, right? So I'd like to get beyond that, first of all. But second of all, I think that there are so many freedoms that we are going to lose this election. Like you said, this is a very historic election. But again, there are so many freedoms, and it's just the freedoms are just having the right to choose whether if a woman can have an abortion or not. That should be her choice between her and her God and her family, right? And her doctor. So for me, I think there's a whole lot of freedoms that are on the ballot and that Dr. McCray would have to deal with. Can I put them into priority order right now? If I were to do that, I don't know. There's so many though, because I'm strong in education, like I said, reproductive rights, the LGBTQ community.
And that's the reason why I say that is because everything has to go through a process.
Anyway.
It has to go through a process. So we have to we have to prioritize. Yeah. So that's what I'm asking you, like, which one would you like to see
her tackle first?
That's a good
tough.
It's very tough. It's a good question. Even mental health. I'm like the mental health issues are near and dear to my heart. As well, I would say, how about this? I think she's going to be on the show later. Let's ask her.
Yes.
I like the way she threw that.
Right. And even the mental health issues, my radio station goes to senior citizen homes, and we've been going to some of the group homes and they have a right to what? Vote.
Right.
Guess what? They don't know what to do. We went to 3 group houses. They had 25 people in them. And are you guys registered to vote? I don't know. They have not educated the mental health people that do have the ability to vote, and they have a voice. No one's been there to talk to them. They just put them in a facility and take them where they go. That's another avenue of missing votes that we have.
Well, not only missing votes, but you just touched on something too. It shows the concern for our senior citizens and the violation of their rights and not having somebody there to advocate for them.
Yes, for them to vote. And the LBGT is a whole nother issue. I've had some problems, with what she said. I own a business. You own a business. Oh, you just have a black-owned business. No, I just happen to be black. I got the same license that WTLC has.
Right.
So, no, I'm not just a black business. And then when we celebrate all holidays. We celebrated for the LBGT, and it got me national commercials. They supported me because I supported them. I'm not against them. I have no comment on that. But you have a right. You're here to stay, right? So, we have to engage everybody. The voting process engages everyone, all colors, all races, like a rainbow. We're all here, and we all have a voice.
I like that rainbow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I miss about that Jesse Jackson.
Yeah.
When he was in political, I got to meet him personally, and as a young girl, I can remember him talking about the Rainbow Coalition.
Right.
We need to bring that back.
Yeah.
We need to bring
it
back.
It includes all of us.
Because everybody needs to be included.
Before we wrap up, how do we get the people out to vote? Is there a simple process? Does anybody know how they can go about doing that? I know they can go on the websites and so forth. Does anybody here know that?
Yes,
protocol?
Myla.
Yeah, first I would begin by saying make sure that you're registered to vote. The voter registration deadline is October the 7th, which is this coming Tuesday.
Yeah.
This coming Tuesday.
Yeah.
And I always encourage registered voters. Check your voter registration so that when you go to the polls on election day, or whether you choose to early vote, that you don't have a problem and you have a smooth process. If you've gotten married recently, if you have moved recently, right? Check your voter registration before going to the polls. Do your homework, right? Do your homework on the candidates before going. Then that way you have a great voting process. And again, we're going to make history. We have Dr. Val on the ballot, which is amazing. We have Kamala Harris. We have so many women. Linda's on the ballot. And we're going to make history, but do your homework first before going.
And I also say to all the churches, no particular color, just all churches, open up your buses on election day.
Right.
Go and pick up the people. Gruber,
Uber.
DoorDash, whoever you're over, bring your cars out. Volunteer to bring the people to the poll. You can vote pretty much anywhere, so it's not like you're going out of your way. Help the elderly and the young folks,
Right.
and the less fortunate of us that can't drive. Help them to the poll. One vote can make a big difference here in the city, and it's going to take one vote probably to win this election, because we're facing a lot of bad bad things are happening. Some of these candidates are doing to disencourage you to go to the poll. But I ask you today, please, ma'am, please, sir, go to the polls and vote. It's very important because one vote can really make a difference here.
DB, close us out.
Hey, I want to close you out and let you know that we rock the vote, young and old. Read, educate yourself, and tell a neighbor, tell a friend. Let's do it, baby.
This has been another exciting episode. Make sure you get out and vote. Your vote's important. We got coming up Dr. Val, the new Indiana senator, coming on next. This has been another exciting episode of the Andre The Beast Crayton Show.